No deposit and all that type of stuff. Okay, let me see if it's switched. Okay, hit it. There's our common questions. Let's talk about some.
How can I tell if an animal is really a service animal and not just a pet?
Good question. Well, like I said earlier, they generally will be well behaved, okay? Unless it's just something really freaky, an earthquake or something like that, they might not be. But other than that, they will be well behaved. And another thing is that they'll have a harness on. Did you see this little picture? This is a harness. There are several different kinds of harnesses depending on the type of job that the service animal is there to do. But this is for a guide dog. And my dog is going to model this for you. Come about, dear. Show them the harness. There you go. You going to bow or anything? No. Okay. Sit down so they can see it. Good. This is a harness. It is set up so that it connects to the dog and then allows, it's rigid so that as I'm holding it, I can tell if he does a subtle change or a subtle, movement that will, see, he's trying to get into position because he's like, aren't we supposed to be going? Then they'll sit, stay. So this is a harness, and that's generally what you'd see them looking like, okay? I'm going to, let's see, is this where I do the, yes. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you an idea of what Lando actually does. And so I'm going to show you what he does. His job is to get me to where I have to go based on the information that I tell him. For example, we don't come up and say, Lando, look, we show him a map, maybe, and say, look here, Lando, I need to get over to Copeland, and no, it's not like that. What it is that I know where I need to go, and I know the direction to go and how to go. For example, like PGIPs, the portable GPS system, we call them PGIPs. We gave her a name. So it's as much as PGIPs would know, turn right at blah blah corner, turn left at such and such a thing. So this is what I get to know. What his job is to find the most safest way to access to where I told him to go. For example, if there is construction going on the road, and I do know that I have anywhere around FSU, there's going to be construction. So let's use that as an example. So I'm going down Gaines, kind of towards where they built that circle, and there's construction, suddenly no more sidewalk, even though I know I'm trying to get to Woodward. I tell the dog forward, I'm trying to get to Woodward, but then if there's that, he will either stop, find another direction, swerve onto a different way in the street, and then still get me to Woodward on another way. But they'll give you this information. And because this is rigid, I get to feel as he's going. Sometimes he'll be blatant enough to just go to it and stop and say, look, this part is dangerous, but I wanted to let you know it's here. But this is dangerous. And then I'll most likely tell him to hop up. He'll scoot up a little further, and I'll just feel it, and okay, I see there's no, okay. Then let's go this way, or something like that. So his job is to find the safe way to do it. For example, coming into a building, you want to walk in, I want to walk in, and any of y'all too, want to walk in with dignity and just sort of make it a smooth transition from the front door to maybe a seat in the auditorium. Well, if you don't have the guide dog or a cane or any other mobility device, it's a matter of feeling the walls and working your way through. And that doesn't bring about dignity, nor does it let people treat you or make people want to treat you with dignity and respect. So with the dog, I can say, Lando, inside. We find the door, he keeps me inside. I can say, Lando, find the door this way, the auditorium this way, the door. He'd find the door. Lando, find a seat, for example. He can actually walk in here, and where all y'all are seated, he can find the open seat for me and point to it, and then I'll find the seat, sit down, and we're good to go. Before I had the guide dog, that didn't work. Before I had the guide dog, I used a cane, but that doesn't help me find an empty seat. So I caned all the way in and got into the auditorium, and it was busy, and I was going to be speaking, so I needed to keep as much dignity as I could, and I walked in and sat right on some man's lap. Sure did. And oh my goodness, well, all right, I thought, oh, well, how are you going to, you can't even work your way out of that with a comment that would help, except his, which was, well, you can sit here if you want to, ma'am. So I just you know, grabbed my dignity off the floor, scooted, put it in my pocket, and walked on out. But the service dog makes it look smooth, okay? That's the big deal. Okay, I'm going to have him work for me right now. Lando, forward, find the stairs. Hop up, find the stairs. Good boy. He's looking for a kibble, but we're not going to say that. With the kibble word, but I've said it now, you see. See? He knows that. Okay. All right, Lando, forward. He will stop at the top of the stairs to let me know there's stairs so I don't just go falling down, okay? Lando, find the door. Right, find the door. Good boy. Now I'm going to go out the door and come around the other side because now I've told him this and I want to be fluid. Lando left. But y'all can still hear me. Good boy. Lando, forward. Were y'all able to still hear me? Yeah. Isn't that amazing how life does that? Lando left. Find the stairs, bub. He's going to stop at the bottom. Lando, forward. We're going to try to find the stairs over there on the other side. Lando, forward. Find the stairs. Find the stairs. Forward, find the stairs. Good boy. You see how there was those cone things? Okay, so he's going to, now the funny thing is that the person with the visual impairment or blindness is not even going to know that the dog just saved their lives because he's just going to go. It looks like he's just going, you know, but he's really thinking. Lando left. Good boy. Lando, find my chair. Find the seat. Good boy. Good boy. He's like, kibble, kibble. Here's something that most people don't realize. Lando, go over there, though. Is that they don't realize that the dog is not just, okay, he's going to the door, big deal. He's going through this. Did I mention? Yes. Anyway, they think that he's going there, okay. But do you realize that what he's doing is he's leaving clearance for me on the right? He's not just, because he could fit through a lot of the things that he was going through, but he'll stop and go, okay, wait. How wide do I have to leave to make sure she's there? And then even with hanging bushes, it's how, wait, she might still get hit by the bush, so he'll stop before the bush and I'll feel it and then he'll let me know that that was there and then we go another way. So the dog is thinking 24/7, okay? It's not, and you see now why I say this is not a pet. You get it? Y'all with me? Because I left and I came back. Did y'all go with me? Yes. Okay, so he's not a pet. Lando, hop up, Bubba. Have a seat, love. Stay. Lay down, matter of fact. Okay, all righty. So I just wanted to get that impressed upon you. Later we will look at a video that's about 16 minutes that talks about how guide dogs start with from puppy stage all the way up. Okay, question?
My county health department has told me that only a seeing eye or guide dog has to be admitted. If I follow those regulations, am I violating the ADA?
Yes, you are violating the ADA if you only let guide dogs in. I'm here to talk to you about guide dogs today, but I do have to say that all the service dogs that I listed earlier are allowed accessibility, okay? Keep in mind also that the ADA laws, that's federal. So local laws and state laws don't have as much power as the ADA law, okay? When the incident that Mr. Chepper discussed earlier happened, one of the comments that the perpetrators stated was, oh, well, this is a state building, so they have different laws than the ADA. And so maybe he did not understand what the ADA was, but ADA is federal. So even if they have different laws, our ADA is stronger, okay? When you meet a working guide dog team, keep in mind that the dog is responsible for keeping this person safe, okay? And so it is imperative that you do not distract a service dog in any way. Like in the story earlier, in the situation that I was in, the person came up to the dog and grabbed the dog. while I was working with the dog. So you see, this is not a safe situation, because once you do that, it throws the dog off, number one, because he's already got a mindset of where he's going to go. But then it does, I want to say it frightens the dog, but it doesn't frighten the dog for its own safety. It frightens the dog for my safety. So now the dog's thinking, oh my gosh, something's coming to get her. And so in general, it's just not a good idea. You're not supposed to touch, distract, call out to, or anything, a service dog, because they have that harness on. And when that harness on, that means they're working and they are aware and they are thinking, like I told you earlier, how much thought goes in. When that harness is off, they are not. I don't want to say they're not thinking, but I kind of mean that. They are not at working, so they're at ease. Just like when y'all are here and you're at work, you've got your suit on and your matching shoes and earrings and purse to go with it, and you got to have your bracelet that goes with the earrings, that of course goes with the necklace, and then the shoes. When your purse got to match, well, like I said earlier, so you're all together and you're thinking. When you're off work and you turned on the television and you've gotten your ice cream and you're sitting down chilling, you're relaxed, right? And you're just sort of yourself, and things that you may have done while you were relaxed, you wouldn't do while you're working, and vice versa. Same with a guide dog. Lando, come. You see, he's been very, very well mannered all this time because he has his harness on. Okay? A service dog without the harness. Okay, yes, that's my boy. Yay! Okay, this is my psycho puppy for during the day without the harness. Okay? Now, all I have to say is when the harness is back on, put your head in. Good boy.
Amazing. Wow.
Dog is back to work. Hence, we do not combine those two worlds in any way, shape, or form. Okay? When the harness is on, the dog is working. When the harness is off, he's free like that. So if he's guiding me down the street and you do things to the dog that seem like off-duty, it confuses the whole situation. And that psycho animal that you just saw would be crossing the street with me. And so, at all costs, we never, ever mess with a service dog when they've got the harness on. Okay, Bubba, thank you. Go on over there, Bub. He's just a little demonstration thing, my little Vanna White today, isn't he? Lay down, Bubba. Okay, so keep that in mind. Never distract them. And this next slide is going to talk about never distracting them even while you're driving. It doesn't necessarily apply to this building, but if you holler out, go this way, oh, the street's safe to cross, or whatever while you're driving, and the person's crossing the street, it doesn't really help, okay? Even though I know y'all aren't doing it to be rude, you're doing it to help, but it doesn't necessarily help because the guide dog is trying to pay attention to the traffic himself, and he really won't listen to the fact that you said, it's, you know, go head on and go, because he's using his own way of figuring it out. Okay, so when you meet a working guide dog team sometimes, you might be trying to help them get through a construction work renovation area in the museum or in the building, and you may find that the use of a service dog at that point may be a little possibly dangerous still for the person. So you might want to take them by something we call sighted guide. Okay, sometimes you just want to help them out in a narrow area or where there's construction. So I'm going to give you a little bit of information about sighted guide, and you guys will be thinking about it much more later. I need a volunteer, a brave volunteer.